My name is Joseph Hebert. I'm 43 years old, and I'm originally from the West Bank of New Orleans, but I was raised in the Ninth Ward of New Orleans, and then my teen years were spent in Araby and Chalmette in St. Bernard Parish. And I've spent the last decade or more in Houston, Texas. The 13 words. The first word is water. The second word is wash. The third word is route. The fourth word is buoy. The fifth word is oil. Now, growing up in the Ninth Ward, I heard a lot of people say Earl instead of oil, just as they would say turlet instead of toilet. So that's a word that is often pronounced differently where I was raised. Theater is number 6. Salmon is number 7. Caramel is number 8. Number 9 is New Orleans. Now we say New Orleans. A lot of folks try to sound colloquial by saying Nolans, but actually no one in New Orleans says Nolans. That's, you might hear New Orleans down in St. Bernard Parish or certain parts of the Ninth Ward. But I grew up hearing it called New Orleans, not New Orleans, not Nolans. Number 10 is pecan. Now, where we're living in southeast Texas, most of the folks say pecan, which has taken some getting used to. Number 11 is mayonnaise, or mayonnaise. I guess in my childhood I'd have said mayonnaise, but in adulthood, going to mayonnaise, we never say that. Number 12 is pajamas, and number 13 is envelope. Also, just being in Houston for the last decade, a lot of words that we emphasize the more French pronunciation, like buffet. You know, people there laugh at that. They want to say buffet instead of buffet, yeah. Or, a lot of Houston folks will pronounce the H in the name of the city, whereas coming more from the southeast Louisiana French, the H, we keep it silent on words like human or the city of Houston, whereas they sort of pronounce the H with more of a breath emphasis. So, you know, there are those little differences. They do say y'all. I grew up thinking y'all was a Louisiana thing, and they think it's a Texan thing. So there are little differences and little similarities. But
the first question is, what is it called when you prank someone by throwing toilet paper in their house or in their yard?
Vandalism.
What do you call the small bug that curls into a ball when you touch it?
Doodlebugs.
What do you call a fizzy carbonated drink?
I've gotten into the habit recently of calling them sodas, but my whole life in Louisiana we called them soft drinks. I would also hear them called cold drinks very often as a kid.
What do you call the shoes that you exercise in?
Boots.
How do you address a group of people informally?
Y'all.
How would you address a group of people formally?
You. The you plural. You.
What is a spider-like insect with extremely long legs?
Daddy long legs.
What do you call your grandparents?
When Granny and Pa, or Granny and Pawpaw, was pretty much what I grew up with.
What is the wheeled contraption that you use at the grocery store?
We've gotten in the habit of calling them shopping carts so that people will understand us, but as a kid we always called them buggies.
What do you call it when it's raining while the sun is shining?
The devil beating his wife.
And what is the device that you use to change the TV channel with?
What is what?
The device that you use to change the TV channel with?
The remote.
Okay. Do you think that you speak with any sort of dialect or accent?
It very much depends where I am and who I'm around. When I'm in front of my classroom teaching a group of students, it's much more dialect-free, accent-free. When I'm around a bunch of my fellow Italians, it's different, or a bunch of Southeast Louisiana people. But, if I've been listening to country music all day and I'm in Texas, it definitely... So it very noticeably changes on my social setting.
Do you think that you speak like your parents?
I hope not.
All right, that's it.